Well, going straight into it then, welcome guys to Noobs and the Gingerback. Episode, what are we on? Number 5? How long have we been doing this for? It's been about a month now.
It's five or six, but legit 4. Posted
Legit
4.
Okay.
Yeah, because the first one was
We'll go with
like
that.
waking up with Noob-TV. We kind of did just a dry run just to see how things worked, and then switched
Yeah.
over to the one where like everything was just nothing worked. So
And every week something else seems to come up. However, we've seemed to have it pretty sorted for today, and we've got a good show lined up. Yeah, why don't we jump straight into our first story of the day, which is that straight from the Kotaku UK website. There's been a report that recently came out that criminals are using Clash of Clans to launder money. It's quite interesting. It's very clever, actually. So what these guys are doing is they were recently caught. They took 20,000 stolen credit cards to make purchases in Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and Marvel Contest of Champions. They then went on and resold those accounts with those same purchases on them to third-party markets like G2G or iGame Supply, and they received money in exchange. So they're taking the accounts, they're making purchases on the accounts to whatever value, and then selling the account off to someone else, getting that physical money back completely clean, with no way of tracing it. It's an interesting development, and I think it just goes to show that smart people are always going to find ways to cheat the system. But it does kind of open up an entire new world of cybercrime with video games. And again, it comes back to something that I've said in the past on this show, and that's that these developers and these companies need to take more responsibility for the way that people interact with their games online and the way that their games are used. What do you think about this, Noobs?
I mean, that's absolutely crazy that they're using mobile games to do that. And like you said, it seems like this year has just been a cluster of just craziness in the industry. And like you said, it's nice that they need to step up and take charge for all sorts of things. And I never would have thought that laundering would be a thing. It's just weird. I never would think that you would take dirty money and it's like people that sell RuneScape accounts or stuff like that. And like I never would have pictured somebody going in and getting all this stuff. But I mean, that could happen anywhere. Like I know CS:GO is a big thing, and they have I guess like a digital marketplace where you can buy clothing and weapons and stuff, to where you could set up accounts and stuff like that. And it's like that never would have crossed my mind that would have been in any kind of criminal aspect. I never would have thought that, and it's.
I mean, let's be honest. If you did think of it, you probably would have done it yourself. It's one of those things. Like, I mean, if you think about it, though, any game where you can sell a their marketplace, you can essentially do this kind of crime of laundering money through those systems. And there's like half the companies that have been involved in this have not responded to the story at all. They've just kind of ignored it. So people obviously know that it's happening. People obviously know this kind of crime is out there, and developers obviously know people are doing it. But realistically, do we think they're going to do anything about it? I don't know. I mean, it is generating a huge amount of in-game currency through their systems. Are they going to complain about that? Are they going to try and stop that?
Yeah, no kidding. And I don't. And it sucks too, because I mean, there's people that, like, I have 2 World of Warcraft accounts to where I did stuff, and if I wanted to sell one, I would hate that if I wanted to do that I wouldn't be able to. It's always like like people ruining stuff for other people. So I would hate for that to happen. I don't know how you. I mean, obviously, if you're a 13-year-old kid, you don't have millions of dollars in like coins in your game, but like I don't know how they could monitor that and know that it's not just some mommy and daddy gave their son a credit card and said get whatever. To them to actually being a criminal, unless you're doing just crazy amounts of money.
I think you'd notice quite easily if one account has got multiple purchases from different cards adding up to tons of money and then instantly being sold to someone else.
Well,
I
in
think
that
that's
aspect,
that you'd spot quite easily.
But if you did like multiple accounts with the multiple cards, or maybe use 2 cards per account and then tried selling it off or something, Yeah, I mean, obviously 10
Yeah,
or 15 or 20 cards would be a thing, but that's just nuts. I still can't.
There's only so many fake accounts that I think a person can make. That's the thing. You're gonna be using, especially if you 20,000 stolen credit cards. You're gonna be using multiple cards on one account. Like you're not gonna go and create 20,000 individual accounts to put tons of money through. And even again, if you do that, they can still track the IP address, even through VPNs and that. They can still track you back to your original IP address. It is possible. So I would think that they'd spot it. They've obviously just ignored it completely.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like if nobody notices, no harm, no foul, we're getting our money, we don't care, and then someone's like, hey, and it's as soon as like the bad comes out, then they're like, oh, we'll fix it, or that's usually when people always want to complain is like, oh, that happened after I made my millions off of their their criminal activity. Yeah, we'll fix it now.
It's like the Red Shell story we had was it last week or the week before, where all these game developers were caught using this Red Shell software, which wasn't necessarily, invasive of privacy, but they never told anyone about it. And then as soon as they got caught, they went, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, but we're going to take it away straight away. And I think we're going to probably have the same response. It's like, oh, we didn't realize people were doing bad things on the internet. We'll stop that right now. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more stuff like this. And as games start to become more complex, as their social systems become more complex, and the kind of monetary environments which they create become, more in depth, I think we're just going to see more and more people coming out and finding ways to criminalize video games, I guess.
Sadly, yes.
Which is it's a shame. It is a shame, and I think we should change the name of the show to Why I'm Depressed About the Video Game Industry, because every week we just seem to have more and more of these kind of stories where it's just like, oh, great, people are just completely abusing the video games and this wonderful thing that we all love.
But there's that little light at the end of the tunnel where some of them are stepping up to the plate and trying to fix the problem. So
yeah,
I mean, in this instance, like you said, nobody's talking about it because it's different when you talk about the people using textual or vocal slurs and things like that can be fixed, but now this is money.
Yeah.
Now these people are stepping to the plate with the money factor because, like you said, they probably want because they have to give that money back to do something.
Though. I think this is a little bit different now because when you're talking with other things that we've seen in the video game industry in terms of illegal. It's always been directly related with games. And I mean, I know the biggest one at the moment is IP copyright laws. Like people stealing IPs from people and issuing clones out there, blah, blah, blah. Again, another story that we spoke about a few weeks ago. But I think this is completely different because this isn't a video game related crime. This is just a crime that's happening within video games.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different. So it does kind of, okay, where does the responsibility actually lie? Does the responsibility lie with the developer to change the way their systems work so this crime doesn't happen anymore? Or is the responsibility with government police organizations to try and stop this thing from happening, try and stop, cyber crime like this from happening? Where does the responsibility actually lie? And I think that's what now needs to be worked out. Now this has been brought to the forefront and people know this is happening. We need to work out who's responsible for this. How are we going to fix it?
I mean,
because we don't want things like this giving video games a bad name. We don't want it.
Yeah, the police are definitely, I mean, they have to do their part to prevent it. But now that it's out in the, out into the limelight, if the developer doesn't fix it, they're just as guilty as the people laundering. Because now they know that it's happening. And if they don't, they're just trying to be guilty by, oh, hey, we're just letting it slide so we can get our cut. So they have to fix it. They're responsible now that it's brought to light.
Fair enough. But just to answer your question, the debate that's going on is who is responsible for preventing these kind of things from happening? Who is responsible for stopping this kind of crime from happening within video games specifically? But yeah, I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future. And we'll on it. What are your thoughts on it, guys? Please leave us some comments. Go into either of our Discords, chuck some information in there. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys, see what you think about this. Let's get a conversation going. So moving forward, we've got our next story for today, which is, I found this really interesting, actually. I didn't know that this was a thing, but apparently it is. And we're talking about women-only Overwatch groups, right? Yeah. Have you had any experience with anything like this? there seem to be a lot of different types of women-only groups. But yeah, have you had any experience with anything like this?
I've ran into it a lot. I one of the servers in Discord that I belong to is like Twitch Kittens, which is supposed to be like a women-only thing, but like they accept other people. But I have seen like esports stuff where like they've actually had something where they talked about recently where they're an all-female, you know, I guess competition team. So like I've seen where it's like that. I don't know. It's kind of a yeah. I see it a lot.
This is spawned from an update which Overwatch had in June. Where they finally got a group. Now the idea of it is that players can share their goals, queue up for a game, and lose miserably together. Or if you're a low gold player looking for competitive matches, you'll find people that you can play with. So it's just all about bringing that social aspect of Overwatch a little bit closer. You can find other people to play with and build teams like that. Which is cool. I'm down for that. I'm completely down for that. I think it's great that they've created this tool. But it's kind of had a bit of an unexpected result, I think. I don't know if Blizzard expected it to happen like this, but there's a lot of these all-girls Overwatch groups that are coming up, and they're coming up for various reasons. As you say, Buddy, there's nothing wrong with building teams and crews, but it does get a little bit creepy when you have groups started with, groups called stupid things like hot e-girls only 18 plus, only hot girls 420, e-girls only, blah, blah. That does not, even just the name of those groups does not sound to me like just women wanting to play video games together. That to me sounds like creepy dudes who are just being creepy, because that's what the internet is for, is just being creepy. And you go and queue up with these things and like there's a fantastic story here on Kotaku again, where a journalist went and queued up in one of these groups, and the group's creator was actually a guy. So they asked him, why he was looking for attractive legal girls on Overwatch, and it all sounds very, very creepy at first. But then you read more into it and you find out a bit about why these guys are doing it, and it takes a very interesting turn. So they say the reason that they've started these groups is not necessarily just to find girls to play Overwatch. They're not trying to hook up online or anything like that. Well, maybe secretly, I don't know. But basically, they're tired of all the toxicity within multiplayer games, and they're starting these girls-only groups because girls are usually less toxic in online multiplayer. So these guys are creating groups. They don't necessarily disregard men completely. If there's chill guys that come in there who just want to play games and everything, that's fine. But the main reason for starting girls-only groups is because they want less toxicity and they feel that women are less toxic players. Have you? I mean, I talk about toxicity online all the time. The reason I don't play a lot of online games. So this is an interesting tactic to me. I mean, Noobs, would you go play with a girls-only Overwatch group?
Possibly. I mean, not for the.
Saying yes does not make you a creep. Don't worry. Maybe just a little bit. I don't know.
I'm not for the sake of. I mean, if I was invited in, for whatever reason, because I played with them, they thought I was good. Hey, join us or whatever. But I wouldn't say that I would just do it for the sake of toxicity. Luckily, I haven't had a lot of issues in the past few years with toxicity. And I play a lot of games that they claim that are toxic, like Overwatch or League or these other, games, but I don't play competition. So maybe that's where all that toxicity comes in, is strictly in competition. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, if it was something if they were representing something that I was interested in, I would join. But just for the sake of, joining, that's, I guess I really wouldn't. I mean, I don't.
I personally, I'm quite drawn to this. I think it's quite an interesting idea. I mean, coming from someone who dislikes online multiplayer for this exact reason, because people are so toxic. And yeah, I'd probably go look one up and just sort of try and find a group to play with, because yeah, if it is the case that girls are less toxic and these groups harvest a much more enjoyable environment to play games in, yeah, fuck it, I'll go join. Why not? I mean, you do have the groups that are more specifically for, just a safe space for women to come and play games with each other. And although most of them apparently don't seem to kick men as soon as they join, they are one or two that are just like, no, it's only girls. But most groups seem to be like, if there's, cool guys that come in and don't start taking the piss and everything, then they're happy to join. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of social environment which Overwatch has created. They provided a tool to its community, but then the fans defined how it's going to be used and defined what it was there for. And I think it's very interesting to see how the community has driven what the developers, has driven the use of something that the developers may have intended to be used for something else. I think it's very cool.
I mean, yeah, anytime there's group building, it's all about bringing people together. So, like you said, they were given the tools, they did their thing, and I mean, if it puts people together, I'm for it. Even with the weird names.
Yeah, I think the problem here is, as you mentioned, with the weird names. I think if especially if guys are trying to create these groups that are, friendly for women, they just want a friendly environment to play in, I think they just need to rethink their naming.
Yeah.
Hot girls only, 18 plus. Like, what do you think you're gonna get? Like, what do you think is gonna happen there? Well, what perception are you putting off by that? But anyway, so yeah, that's cool. So if you are a female and you're looking for some cool multiplayer areas to play, Overwatch seems to have a really good social environment at the moment. Go check it out. And guys, if you're looking for hot girls to play Overwatch with, get a life.
Make your own group.
Yeah. But anyway, right. So moving swiftly along from that, am I moving on to? Oh, I think I accidentally skipped a story here. I do apologize. So we've got, going backwards slightly, we've got our next story, which is that it's a South Park story, which I love. I love South Park. Do you watch South Park, Noobs?
Oh, I do. I'm ready for the next season. I've seen them all. It's crazy to see it evolve and where it's at now. I love it. And the fact that they can take a game and do more crazy stuff than they could inside the show.
Yeah.
It warms my heart.
Fair play. Well, I mean, I used to be obsessed with the show. I used to watch it all the time. I don't think I've watched this season 12, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so the news here is, as you mentioned, their games. They are coming. Well, the original South Park game is finally coming to the Switch. Now, the reason I find this so interesting is because it does kind of reveal what kind of play base they're going for. But it's a little bit complicated, right? Because South Park: The Fractured But Whole, which is the second game, was already out on Switch. And the Stick of Truth never got a Nintendo console release at all, probably because of its vulgar nature and the fact that some previous Nintendo consoles were aimed more at kids. But now, with the success of the Fractured But Whole on the Switch, they have decided that they are going to release the Stick of Truth, which will be coming out later this year. So if you're a Stick of Truth fan and you own a Nintendo Switch, fear not. There is a South Park game coming to you. Now, I've not played either of the South Park games, actually. Have you?
Yes, I have played them both. And I love it. Let's see here.
Do you think this is a game for the Switch? Because I kind of feel like this aimed at easy, casual multiplayer gaming and kids. Like, I mean, look at the release of the Nintendo Labo and how successful that's been. It's clearly a console aimed at kids, and now I get why they're bringing more and more adult games, inverted commas, to the Switch, because they want to, sort of increase the audience which they have. But this kind of just feels like they ran out of ideas in terms of bringing. Like, come on, just give us some new content.
I definitely
Nintendo has so much money. Why didn't they just hire the South Park guys to make them a new game just for the Switch? They've got so much fucking money to throw around. Why do they just keep bringing back remasters? Give us new stuff. Give us something we've not played before. The reason Labo was so successful is because it's unlike, it's something fresh and new.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed the Stick of Truth because I think it pushed more boundaries. I think the Fractured Butthole, great title for a game. I think the way that the Switch...
Wait. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? The fractured butthole? Not the
Yes.
fractured butthole?
Oh,
is that
yeah.
how you're supposed to say it, actually? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. The fractured butthole.
But for like... the only thing that's going for the Switch is, I mean, they're slowly bringing out new content, and I feel like Nintendo, for Nintendo stuff like the Labo, love it. I think that's a great idea. For people like us, the more hardcore gamers, I feel that these ports are kind of like their saving grace in that aspect, because we go, what do we want to play anywhere while we're in the car, all this stuff, and they're like, ooh, a lot of people like Doom, so let's bring Doom to it, and they're trying to target a different market because I feel they have this home console, they have this portable device, and maybe they've learned through sales, I have no idea, that maybe they have an audience that wants to get into more adult games. So I definitely feel it's a right move. I wish there was more in-house games. Like I think the Wii U had Devil the Third, which was like a rated R game, and it was their in-house deal. Yeah, Zombie U was awesome. But yeah, they definitely need more games like that. But
I disagree.
On rated R games, or just keep it a family console.
Just games in general. I mean, you mentioned there that they've released some good games, but I'm looking here at a list of original IPs that Nintendo have released since the year 2000. Okay. There is literally one game on it. Take out the Wii Sports and Wii Fit and anything Mario related. Take out all of that, okay? The only game on there that had any real success in terms of I've actually heard of it is Xenoblade Chronicles. Like that's the state of their IPs at the moment. Like Xenoblade Chronicles is their biggest IP relaunch in 18 years. That's a very long time. Yes, they've had the new consoles. Yes, they've had Nintendo Labo come out. But that's not what's going to sell consoles. Why is PlayStation winning the console war? Why? It's not a rhetorical question.
Well, one thing that I noticed that they've held it for a long time until recently, was anime. They kind of were the console that had a hold on basically anime-based games. But now it's just exclusives. They have so many amazing in-house exclusives, and it's new stuff. It's not like they're not running off an old platform. Like Metal Gear Solid's a super old game, but like here, like you said, since 2000, I mean, you've had Uncharted, you've had God of War. Oh man, why is it? Let me just look over here. There's a lot.
Well, the point is the PlayStation and I don't think this is a question anymore. I don't think anybody argues. PlayStation are winning console wars. Why? They have the best original content. And Microsoft and Nintendo don't seem to realize that what gamers actually want. We don't want fancy consoles. We don't want gimmicks and crap. We want good original content. Xbox is screwing themselves because all they're doing is remastering games and re-releasing games. Nintendo is screwing themselves because all they're doing is remastering good games. Guess what? Most of those games, well, I say most of them, but there are some of those games that they're remastering and bringing out that were so popular because they were PlayStation exclusives to begin with. And now they're being ported onto other consoles, like years later. So come on, guys, just wake the fuck up. Seriously. Get your money. You've got tons of money there, right? Take it. Give it to developers, right? And launch some cool games. Guess what? People are going to buy your console then.
Yeah, I can't really think on Xbox. I feel like Halo and Gears, that's all I can think of. I mean, that was so long ago.
I just don't understand why me, a simple ginger idiot sitting behind a webcam, has worked this out. But companies who are spending billions of fucking dollars and pounds every day can't seem to figure this out. Like, why is it so hard? Just give us better original content. Okay, sorry. I'm repeating myself now and I'm going into a rant. I need to calm down. Noobs, take it away for a minute.
Woosah! But yeah, I mean, I agree in that aspect. I definitely feel that PlayStation, they're doing it right. They have amazing exclusive games. They tackled a whole nother market, like I said, with the anime. But I know a lot of those games are now getting, or they're being brought out on multi different platforms.
Hmm.
So I mean, they're losing just that aspect just a little bit, but nobody's creating originality. I can't even think if Xbox. I'm trying to like go back and like my brain's trying to process E3. I can't even think. Or wait, God, what is the Destiny one?
Yeah, so Destiny.
What was that game
Yeah,
that
they had
kind
a
of looked like
new.
it? That's the only new thing I think they're coming out with. Oh
I
my
don't even know what you're talking about.
God, why can I not?
But just very quickly,
Anthem.
Buddha, to answer your question. Oh yeah, Anthem. Yeah. Very quickly. No, it's devs. It is the guys at the top. But that's who I'm talking to right now. It's the guys at the top of Nintendo and Microsoft, the people who are making these decisions. They're the ones that are holding the purse strings, and they're spending all their money going on to all these other gimmicks and crap and everything. Instead of spending that money, giving it to good developers who are known for making good games and saying, go and make us an awesome game just for our console. That's the decision that they need to make. And I know, yeah, if the devs had the money, they'd make the game. But it's people like Microsoft, it's people like Nintendo. It's their responsibility to give them the money. You know?
And it's weird because it's not like it's not a proven system that works or doesn't work. Like PlayStation's doing it, so it works.
They've been doing it for years.
And it's like Microsoft and Nintendo just have money. I don't know who is the richest, but I feel like Microsoft and Nintendo would have more money than Sony. And it's like, why aren't you doing what Sony's doing, something that works?
Yeah.
So it blows my mind.
I mean, Sony have had this kind of business strategy since the Xbox first came out. They've been doing. I mean, Xbox started off really well. They had the Halo series, and just went mad about. I personally never played the Halo series because I've never owned an Xbox. But it became very popular. They had this exclusive, which is what launched the Xbox. I think this is what upsets me the most, is that Microsoft launched their console originally on the back of this concept of having exclusives. And now it's just kind of that whole culture with an Xbox has just disappeared. But anyway.
But now
I can't even remember what the point of the story was. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, South Park game coming to Nintendo
Holy crap!
So that's what we were actually talking about.
I had to go back and look because I was like, you know what? Where were we? Yeah, we were.
Yeah, I've got a habit of doing that. But yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie, because like
South Park fans,
I had a follow up to the South Park thing, and I was like, wow, that was so long ago. I was like, I'm gonna have to do that at the end because I thought we talked about like other subjects.
Well, let's get back on track. What was your point with South Park?
I'll do it at the end of the once we get ready to finish it up.
Fair enough. Well, we are finishing up the story now
we are there.
Yeah, I don't think we've got much else to say on there. Yeah, I was just going to end it off with if you're game, you're in luck. You can play it again on a different console, and it'll be exactly the same game as it was the last time you played it. So enjoy.
You broke out part of that. Sorry.
I said I was just saying it's going to be the exact same game that was when you played it on.
It broke out in the same spot again.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, what was your finishing point there?
Sorry about that. Okay, so we were talking about the subject of South Park, Stick of Truth, the Nintendo, PlayStation Ramble, and all that good stuff. I actually have a code for Xbox One. Talking about it, consoles again. I know most of you guys are PC gamers and all that, but I do have a code for Xbox One for the Stick of Truth. We'll be doing a giveaway in the Discord. I'll have to get that all set up. I'll set it up as soon as the show's over, and probably run it 24 to 48 hours, and then we'll be giving that away.
So for those of you who are new to the show, what we Discord, where you guys can come talk to us and just if you've got anything else you want to say about it, about, come and join us there. So at that point, Noobs, when we go and do that, Noobs will go and set up the giveaway. So stick around and you can join that after the show. Right. So moving swiftly along, and this is quite a short story and a piece of interest for anyone who plays Ghost Recon Wildlands. You ever played that, Noobs?
I have not played. I haven't played a Ghost Recon in a long time.
Well, before we go into the story, I mean, Ghost Recon Wildlands especially, it seemed like it was a victim of its own hype, firstly. Because when they first advertised it, it looked like an amazing game. And then as soon as it launched, I heard nothing else about it. It just kind of like, oh, it's out now. And moving on. Next game. You know, so I have no idea how successful it was. I have no idea if it's actually, as you say, but it kind of flopped on launch. Like nothing really happened with it. But they're still working on the game. They have added some cool stuff. Like they had Predator DLC where you can go and hunt down and fight the Predator. And they've now recently done a crossover with Ghost Recon. So they're adding Ghost Recon. They've done a crossover with Rainbow Six. That's what I meant. So Ghost Recon are adding Rainbow Six Siege operators into the game. There's a whole new storyline where you meet some of the characters, you get a bit more backstory in some of the characters, and it's basically centered around one of the elite operators from Rainbow Six has disappeared, and they fear that he's become a criminal. So some of the other operators come and meet with the Ghostland Wildlands people to, do stuff. As you say, they also cross over with Splinter Cell. So it seems like Ghost Recon are doing everything they can to associate with as many of their other Tom Clancy properties as possible. But they're not actually making the game any better. They're just adding more shit. It's like, more stuff, get it in there.
It almost makes you wonder,
really doing anything.
In the fighting game genre, if we're going to have a Tom Clancy's like Smash. We're just going to get all the IPs put together.
Have a Call of Duty version of just Tom Clancy games. Just like, you get Splinter Cell, you get Rainbow Six, you get everything. Stick them in a Call of Duty style game. That would be fun. I'd play that. Why not?
I'd be down. Got to do something different.
Why not? Yeah, because they're essentially saying, don't look over here. I like that.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Recon Brawl.
Yeah. Tom Clancy Rainbow Recon Brawl.
I'd do it.
But yeah. So if you're a Ghost Recon fan, you can go and check that out. There's no release date for it, although I think it was just an update that was released. The new Nintendo, we've just been on that, Casil. You're too late. Go and watch the recording. But yeah, so just an interesting bit of news for you guys regarding that game. And that's all. Moving on. Next story.
Ooh.
Burma. Now, this is something... What? He said wait.
Ooh, never mind. I can't tell. I thought it was maybe July 24th, which would be a couple days ago, maybe? They could be out already?
There we go, then it's already out. It could already be out. It wouldn't surprise me. The story's about a week old, so it might be out already.
Get your operator on.
Basically, if you've got the game, go check out if you can get it. Noobs get a tan.
Yeah, I went boating last week.
Is that from your day out on the lake?
But hey, I went boating on Saturday, so I would have had this luscious lobster tan
topped up
on the last broadcast.
No. Right. So moving on to our next story, and this is bit of a big one. I think this is going to be very interesting watching.
Try Jack's new $3
and we're talking about the state of mobile gaming. All right. Now, being at E3 earlier last year, the one thing that I stood up and noticed for the first time is how big the mobile gaming scene is. Now, we're talking specifically today about the hardware. So Darkus, you might be able to chime in on this a bit. But there's an interesting kind of trend at the moment with mobile phone companies. Well, not even with generic mobile phone companies. They're kind of gaming companies that are coming out with this, and they're bringing out gaming-specific phones. We are obviously, as you can see on screen, talking specifically about the Razer phone, which came out, I think, last year sometime, and the recently announced Asus ROG phone. which I'm personally very excited about. It's just some really cool stuff in there. But to give you a bit of an idea of what kind of specs we're talking about in these things. Now, the Razer website isn't the best for finding information about the specs, but just to give you an idea, 120 hertz ultramotion screen, Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 with 8 gigabytes RAM, 12 megapixel dual cameras for complete versatility, and 4,000 mAh battery. Oh, sorry, I just had a little burp come up there. 4,000 mAh battery for all-day power. So comparing that to what Asus have announced for their new phone, let me just quickly get it up. My computer's a bit slow. So they're building a system which is only a 90 hertz display, so it's slightly different to the Razer phone there. They've also got a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor in. However, they've got a souped-up M845 compared to the Razer phone, which is the 835. So the Asus ROG phone has a far better chip in it, as opposed to having slightly lower refresh rate on the screen. They both got their fancy cameras in them, blah blah blah. Now Razer kind of, and I was annoyed with this when it first came out, and I don't know why they've done it, but they spent, maybe someone can explain this to me. Razer have spent a ton of money to put these really fancy, really awesome speakers into a phone for mobile gaming. I mean, it's THX certified, Dolby Atmos. They've got these like stupidly fancy speakers in there. And what's the first thing anyone does when they do anything with audio on their phone?
Put on the headset.
Exactly. So I kind of feel like, what were you thinking there? I mean, like, yeah, when these music-able phones first came, buses listening to music, and that's really fucking annoying, by the way. But nowadays, if you're going to do anything on your phone, especially if you're playing a game, the first thing you're going to do is put your headphones in. So well done, Razer. I'd like to give you a round of applause, wasting however much money you spent on getting fucking Dolby speakers into your phone. Congratulations. When they missed the most important thing, which Asus got right first time. And that is, I'm going to get my phone quickly to show you this. Right, everyone's going to see this immediately, right? So here is a phone, okay? So you've got all your ports on the bottom there. So when you're playing a game, what's the first thing you do, right? That. And now you've got all the ports in the way there, and it makes it a bit awkward to hold or whatever. In fact, I've got one here. For demonstration, we'll plug in this random cable, which is not connected to anything, okay? So I'll plug in my phone to charge, because I'm going to play a nice big game, and it's going to, suck up the battery bit. Let's plug that in. Okay, now I'm going to play my game. And now I've got this in the way here, and it's a little bit weird, and it's a little bit awkward, and I don't really know where to put my fingers, do I? Right? So what have Asus done? They've gone, you know what, we've got an idea. We're going to put the ports there for you. Like, the simplest of changes, and you just go, oh, actually, that's a brilliant idea. Whereas Razer have gone and spent all their money on something fancy that no one actually gives a fuck about. Which, to me, just gives you an idea of where the mindset is in these two different systems. Now, there is a third system out on the market, but it's only available in China. It's the Xiaomi Black Shark. So we're not going to go into that, because it's not going to be available in the UK or America at any point. So, I mean, Noobs, would you be interested in buying a gaming-specific phone?
No, because I just don't. I don't like. I would love to have when the Razer came out and they're like, we're going to do a phone. Like, the first thing in my head was like, I have to get it as a gamer. I guess there's going to be another accessory, like a Nintendo DS or a PlayStation Vita or something. I was like, we're going to get this. Like, I'm going to turn a whole new leaf, and we're going to throw it all away. I'm going to become a mobile gamer. And but then I thought about it, and I was like, I've had a phone for how many years? 10, 15 something years I've had a cell phone. I'm like, how much gaming do I honestly do on this? And now with the Switch, I'm just kind of like, I do take the Switch and do some portability with it, but I really don't have any games that are worthy of utilizing a phone of that capability. The only thing that I actually do through my phone is like Hearthstone.
Well, maybe that's because we haven't necessarily got good games yet to play on them. I mean, there's a lot of development work we spoke about recently. I think it's EA. The new Command & Conquer is going to be a mobile-only game, which we checked out, and I think we both agreed it looked kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, and you've got things like Fortnite, PUBG. They're all trying to run mobiles. they're pretty processor-heavy games. Like, you need something fairly decent to run that stuff effectively. Yes, I know network has a lot more to do with it, but if you don't have a decent phone, you're still going to struggle. So I think it's interesting that we've, and I think it's kind of the development cycle. I mean, nobody was making games for the PS4 until they'd announced there was a PS4, you know? So now we've got these phones, we've got the hardware that we can kind of, you know, developers can start to push the boundaries with. And we've got massive companies like you know, what's it? Say again?
Oh, I was just saying hi, Jab. Sorry.
Oh, right. I thought you were mentioning a company name. But yeah, you've got companies like Gameloft who make tons of games and have all great games. And we now have hardware where they can start to push the boundaries a bit, which I think is great. One of the nice other features of the Asus phone, though, which I so badly want to bring up, it has, and I'm in my head, someone's going to have to explain this to me. I don't know how they've built a vapor chamber inside a phone that's literally the size of my normal phone. Like, they've got a phone like this, and there's a fucking vapor chamber in there. Wow. That's amazing. And if that's not enough, right, the Asus phone is actually a modular design. So you've got add-ons that you can stick on it. So they've then gone and built an extra cooling system that you can put on the phone that keeps it even cooler for while you're doing long gaming sessions. They've got all sorts of other cool things. They've got an attachment where you can basically plug controllers onto the side instead of big useless speakers. They've decided to put controls on the side of the phone, and then you can also buy a thing which turns it into like a Nintendo 3DS kind of device with dual screens and that. So they've just got, I mean, they've even got one where you can turn the thing into a bloody console. That's how powerful this thing is going to be. You can use it as a console on a big TV. So for people who want to stream mobile games, that's a game changer. That's an absolute game changer for them. You know, for people who are professional esports, you know, mobile players, and there are people like that about. I mean, legit Michael, we see him all the time. He is a professional mobile game esports player. So that is, you know, that is a thing. Absolutely. So I welcome this. I welcome the extra hardware. I think it's going to be cool. I'm definitely buying 2 Asus ROG phones as soon as they come out.
And I mean, that is really awesome because I've noticed that a lot of these, I always have someone say, you know, get on and play this mobile app with me. And like I said, mobile's not my jam, but I'll get on and just kind of in hopes that maybe to catch my attention. Thanks for the follow, Jab. But I've noticed that a lot of these games have pre-installed Twitch, YouTube, like they're trying to get on streaming, like they're already built in where you can access, you know, those abilities to live stream. And, you know, for people that do the esports and stuff like that, I think having that would be an upper edge to where you're not using your fingers on a glass screen, that you can plug in, you know, some kind of controls. Because I have seen where they have, I don't know if they're magnetized or suction cup, where you can put like a little thumbstick onto your glass screen and move it. And it's like, this is the evolution of that. You know, we went from a suction cup thumbstick to like, let's just make a whole phone, you know, capable of doing it. So for those people, I mean, that's a great step for them because it's their evolution. Kind of like me jumping the PC 20 years later from console is my evolution.
Absolutely. And I think it's great that we're starting to see some really fantastic hardware come out specifically for that kind of stuff. Yeah, specifically for those kind of people. And I mean, just looking at it as a phone as well, it's a fantastic phone regardless. I mean, you looking at the Asus ROG phone, up to 40 hours of Wi-Fi music live stream. You can constantly live stream music for up to 40 hours. That's pretty decent. And play games for up to 7 hours with the battery as well. So just on a normal battery, you've got 7 hours of non-stop gameplay. If you can't get to a charging point within 7 hours of playing a game, guess what? You probably shouldn't be playing anymore. But yeah, it's cool. I'm so down for it. I'm so up for it. Hello, Jab. Welcome to my stream as well. You can dual watch at the moment. But yeah, I'm totally down for it. And I want one. But there's no release date or price yet. Although they have said that they're going to be competitive with their competitors, i.e., the Razer phone. All right. So I just got a follower, so I'm going to take a second.
Ooh, follower dance.
Yeah.
I
Just not what we have in
definitely,
music
it's
background.
good
Thank you
enough
very much
for
for the follow, Jab. Much appreciated.
it's definitely worth, like, I'm
Right.
excited to play with it. Like, I want to go into Verizon, AT&T, whatever. Like, I just want to, get my hands on it and play with it. Is it going to be for me? Not 100% sure. But maybe this
Oh,
is what it takes to get me into that. Who knows?
well, this is the thing. I think it'll be interesting, and I think people such as yourself who are very much. I mean, I was mobile gaming. I've got my computer for gaming. That's where I do my gaming. Computer or on my console. That's where gaming is done. Mobile phones, no. So I've been for a very long time in that as well. But they're starting to do some interesting stuff. There's apparently someone's not hearing my audio at the moment in my stream. I don't know why is this a constant issue in our lives? Why is audio a constant issue?
Who
Oh,
knows?
let me have a look.
Yeah, because even for me,
right.
listening to you through Discord, you break out every so often too.
Yeah, it's probably because of my mic positioning. But anyway, I'll try and stay still. What was I saying? I can't remember. Oh yeah, there's things actually happening. Make me maybe it is worth getting involved. Maybe it is worth starting to have. And as I say, just as a phone, it just looks like a fantastic piece of hardware. So I'm definitely buying one. But anyway.
Hey, it's a good thing because I think I'm like 2 months away from getting an update, so I'll make sure I hold on to that just in case.
Exactly, and Buddha, you might not be able to play Halo exactly on mobile, but you will be able to play something very, very similar to it, as well as tons of really other cool games. Go and check it out. Go and have a look at the games that are out there. I think I might do a little bit of a spotlight next week on some cool mobile games, just to kind of process this, because there is a huge market, a massive market. And I think the more we can engage with it, just the better content we're going to get. So let's do it.
Heck yeah.
If we do have any mobile gamers watching, please do drop us some comments in Discord. Come and join us after the show in the after show voice channel on Noobs Discord. Come and chat with us. Tell us what you think about the future of mobile gaming. Are you going to buy either a Razer phone or an Asus ROG phone? Did you even know they existed? Come and talk to us. And now we're going to move on to our big story for the day. Right. This is a big one because I've spoken about this quite a lot recently. And we're talking about we are talking a bit about console wars, I guess. Because I've said previously that I don't see any scope for a new console coming out anytime soon. Nobody's been talking about it. No one's been saying anything. There's been no sort of big technology announcements that we sort of think, oh, that could go to new. Nothing like that. However, we have had our first bit of news from the future of consoles coming out of PlayStation. So PlayStation recently, in an article, announced that they believe that the PlayStation 4 is coming to the end of its life cycle. Everyone fucking panic. They are working on the next gen. That's essentially what they're saying, I think. They have said that currently mentioned games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Spider-Man and other games that have been announced to come out are all going to come out on the PS4. So there's nothing in the plans for any games. I think by them simply announcing this, we're going to see developers slow down pushing out games because they're going to wait. They're going to wait and see what the next console is going to be. So we are currently living in a prime year for games this year and next year. After that, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be slowed down in development and kind of pushed back in development to push for PS5. Personally, my hopes of seeing a Final Fantasy VII remake anytime soon are just going out the window with every day. What do you think, Noobs? Are you excited for the potential of a new...
And, oh, heck yeah. Well, my wallet is not at all. But I'm always excited for new stuff, anything with the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about a few weeks ago, where we had like predictions. We're like, if you take like this calculator of every so many years, we have a new console or this or this. Like we kind of had an understanding that it was going to come soon in a 2-3 years or something, under just the general assumption that every X amount of years there's a new hardware. This kind of confirms, they're staying on path with that. And I mean, we have kind of started seeing where, what game was it where they were talking about it wouldn't be out till next gen? And you're like, oh, well, I don't want this to be 10 years down the road. Like, as soon as they said that, you're like, I want it to be next gen, like next year, just so I can get this game. And it was the outer space game with the super Starfield, where they said it was going to be
the Bethesda game.
So
yeah, we spoke about that last week a bit, saying, "Oh, worry there."
So now you know that it's right around the corner. So now we're not guessing. Hey, it's going to be forever. It could be, where they're kind of talking, by 2021.
And to put a bit of a time frame on this, they are sort of over the next 3. Okay, so they're sort of official wording, so to speak, and it's basically that over the next 3 years, the next 3 years they believe is the last sort of cycle for the PS4. So they haven't necessarily announced that they're working on a new console, but they have basically said that over the next 3 years we need to assess what the future for gaming within Sony is. So that's kind of their official wording of it. Just to provide some extra context to this, though, Kodera, who is the head of, I think he's the head of Sony in Japan or China or wherever. So he's the top
chief.
dog. Yeah. There we go. The PlayStation chief. There we go. To provide some context, Kodera was talking to investors and analysts about the health and viability of the PS4 as a platform earlier this year. He said that it expected to sell 16 million PS4s during the year. That's this year, 2018, compared to 19 million during last year. So this could very well be just him trying to contextualize and sort of make relevant to their investors why they're going to see a downturn in sales for the PlayStation 4 this year. Oh, it's reached the end of its life cycle. Yes. That's why we're not selling so much anymore. Everyone's got one already. But this is the first real indication we're seeing of any kind of potential of a next gen console. Like no one said anything yet, and this is the first time that we're kind of getting an idea of a timeline. So 3 years we can. So I'd say maybe over the next 2 years' time we're going to see the first announcements of a new console. I reckon that's my prediction right there.
Yeah, and like I said, for the wallet, not not happy about it. As a gamer, I'm
3 years to save up. You got 3 years to save up for that. Get what? Let's say get like maybe $500 together for the console case, because there might be some, and then get an extra $200 together for all the games that have come out on release. That's what we need. $700 to save over 3 years. I think we can do that. I think we can do it.
Oh yeah. And as long as nothing else, like what happened the previous one with Xbox and PlayStation literally being back to back in the weeks, that was painful. So spread them out a little bit. Give me a year or so to come up with some funds. So, and like I said, there's no talks about any of the other ones. Nintendo shouldn't even think about. The Switch just came out. Like they better not do no crazy stuff. I don't want no mini version or anything else like that. I'm done with them for a few years. But I could see the PlayStation. I'm about ready for something new.
I don't think we've fully seen the potential of it yet. I mean, I think God of War last year was it this year?
This year.
But it was this year. Jesus. I think God of War was the closest we've seen so far to the full capabilities of the PlayStation 4. I think personally, I think it still has a few more tricks up its sleeve. Which is why they haven't started working on, or why they haven't started rumoring about a new console yet. Because I think that's what this is referring to in terms of the end of its life cycle. Is we are now getting to we can't really do anything more with it at this point. So we need to start looking at how we're going to provide hardware to take the next step. I think that's more specifically, and the reason I say that is because in the same article on GameSpot, Kodera did highlight that PlayStation VR as a platform is growing. but not necessarily at a level that reaches what they were projecting. So this could maybe indicate that they're looking at investing more time and money into the VR side of things. This could indicate that going over to I'd love to see more. I'd love to see cheaper VR technology. That's what I'd like to see. But if they're investing in the platform, we could see that eventually. But that could also be an indication of the direction that they might look at with the next gen console. I mean, will the PlayStation 5 come with a VR headset? Probably not, because that's not how you make money. But maybe it'll be more heavily centered towards VR development, because that is, as a platform, has grown massively. And PC is obviously still dominating with that, but we could see consoles try and pick it up. I still think that Xbox is going to be launching a VR system at some point. But
they would be crazy if their next gen did not have VR on paper somewhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think there is an argument. Microsoft already has huge amounts of VR with PC. And I just got a fantastic, wonderful donation for the rubber ducky. Hugely appreciated. Okay, so let's flip the conversation a little. All right. What would you like to see in a next gen console? What would be like if they said that it had this? You just drop your money on the spot. There you go, have it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I've watched too much Sword Art Online, and oh my god, thank you, Jab, for the Tiki Man.
Jab running around swinging his dick all over the place.
Thank you so much.
Donations for you. Donations for you. And they get my headphones.
Get this man a headset without duct tape. I feel like the Sword Art Online thing with the whole headset in my, like, where I could think it, if that was ever a thing, like, I would take out second mortgage. Like, that would be, if Nerve Gear was a thing, sign me up.
Gear.
But I love VR, and at the time, before the PC was built...
Just coming back to this Nerve Gear thing, sorry to interrupt, coming back to this Nerve Gear, we have seen a lot of technological in that kind of area in the last couple of years, like a huge amount, to the point where you can now inject nanomachines into your body that will tell you when you're getting sick before you feel any symptoms. Like, that's how far we are with that kind of stuff. More like magic mushrooms, as Russianovsky says. But I don't think we'll see that as a feature in the next console, but I definitely think that what they need to develop is a console that's powerful enough to handle that kind of technology. I think the reason we haven't seen anything like that in gaming is because there's nothing powerful enough to do it. But I think we'll start in the next gen of consoles, start seeing people experimenting with that kind of stuff. With maybe like, because I mean, we've got all the motion stuff going now with the VR things. We've got that down. We got that sorted. I think the next step is now like reading heart rates. I mean, we've got tons of technology to do that. Maybe it comes with a watch that reads your heart rate, and then when you're playing like a scary game, it can read when you're scared and change the game according to, like, that kind of stuff.
That would be
so.
Cool.
Maybe we'll see people experimenting with that next generation console. I don't think we'll see that as a feature.
That would be awesome. That'd be kind of cool,
right? Like,
because they had
smartwatch technology is such a big thing now. What if we had a smartwatch that was built to work with your console, with your computer while you're gaming?
That would be
what
awesome.
Could you do with that? Any clever people in the chat, get on it.
Oh, what was it? Yeah, because they're always experimenting with stuff where the Division, where you could have like a friend on a cell phone control your drone like within the game while you were playing. Like they have all these little neat things.
That was that really unsuccessful futuristic game, which I think Ubisoft put out. What was it? Something dogs. I can't remember.
Watch Dogs.
Anyway, there we go. Watch Dogs. That's it.
But yeah, there's so much they they incorporate little things that are cool like that. The heart rate monitor would be awesome. That if the game fluctuated, because the GameCube had a game called Insanity's Rank Room, and it had its own in-game stress meter. However they figured it out, I don't know. But once you hit a point, like the game got a little freakier and would do stuff to kind of trip you out. So that would be awesome, especially for people that get scared really easy. Just to keep intensifying the game would be kind of neat. But yeah, I think if
and just
I was
sorry,
gonna say,
mate.
but yeah, if they keep pushing the VR, if if it requires another console to get it, not trying to say compete with PC, but if they can get on par and get low grade PC out of the PlayStation, I'm definitely down for that. I would spend my money on it. Or just more stuff to make you feel like you're there, like what was it? Buddha said something about impact vest, something where you feel the game. Now you're mentally you're seeing the game. Now I want to feel the game. And I think the vest and stuff is more PC. Like they haven't brought that over in the console. Like PC has everything. You got the treadmills and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, something like that. Vest thing with VR really taking off because it's just extra equipment that you've got to. It's wires everywhere and where and everything.
Just invite your friend over. They hit you when you get hit.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I get that it's extra immersion. In that. But in terms of, we are now talking less niche market and more mass market. When we're talking about next gen consoles, we're talking mass market here. Niche market, there's always going to be a space for these vests and everything. I'm talking about what kind of mass market features we could have. Those vests are always going to be niche. Josh's Corner, you mentioned as well, they've got these games that measure heart rates and things like that. There's always going to be people who are doing stuff like that, trying to push the boundaries. I'm talking now, can we get this as a mass market thing? Where we have some kind of very simple, even like a controller, like they can read your heart rate from that part of your palm, right? What if we have a controller that has a sensor on it that can read your heart rate from there? Integrate that into the hardware, not extra peripherals, something that's integrated into the machine as well. Because once it's actually integrated in the machine and not a third party thing or a third object thing, that's when developers can really start to play with it because it's already there. You can just take some features out of it. You can take other features out. You can leave other stuff. Whereas when you have a third party thing, I think it's a bit difficult for developers to make a decision to make something for it, because you're already talking about an extra piece of equipment that people have to buy just to play your game. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. So you say
for PlayStation, it would be VR. I just want the Xbox to bring the Kinect back. Once I got my got the X, they got rid of the Kinect. They got rid of
what happened to it? This was supposed to be the greatest piece of gaming AI ever invented, and it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, they took it off the console. It blows my mind.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean,
as you say, but it was taken off because it didn't sell. It wasn't very good. It didn't go very, very far. But like, okay, maybe we should blame Peter Molyneux for this because he hyped that thing so much when it first came out. He's like, "It's amazing!
Oh yeah, the big
it's gonna be revolutionary. It's gonna be change the way you play games." And now they don't sell it anymore. I feel like Peter Molyneux was the guy who was in charge of Apple after Steve Jobs left the first time, because because just nothing worked out the way that to. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, Kinect looked like a really good idea. Plus the big, I'm sorry, that is a useless argument, Buddha, because every single person who owns a computer has a camera on it, which guess what? The CIA can hack into whenever they want to. So like the whole privacy issue around a camera for your Xbox, bullshit. That's not even an argument, I don't think.
It's a good thing that my computer's hooked up to a television. I don't have a built-in webcam.
There you go. Ah, fair enough.
Actually, the TV has one, but you can like push it and recess it into it. So, and then I have like a piece of tape over it, so I'm like, you're not watching anything.
The NSA is no match for your notebook. Fair enough, Russian. I'm sure you've got some serious Russian. But yeah. So yeah. So we were saying VR is kind of, we think, the next big thing for consoles coming up. I don't know. I just feel like I want to see more of it, but I don't know if we will.
Because I can't think of, like you said, not third party, but something built into the hardware. I can't really think of what a console could do.
PS2 was Blu-ray, for example. You know, that was the big thing. Like you bought a PlayStation because it had a Blu-ray player. You know, Xbox was dedicated servers for playing online. Like that was why people. You know, what kind of a hardware thing do you think that they're going to come up with? That's going to be the big seller for these ones. I mean, nobody watches Blu-ray anymore, so it's pointless putting a disc reader. Sorry, yeah, PS3 had the Blu-ray.
Well, yeah, because now they have both of these have 4K. You know, that's the hot thing now.
Well, maybe that's it then.
Yeah, now it's 4K.
Maybe it's. Well, no, maybe the big hardware issue is they take out the disk drive entirely and just put it in a fuck off massive hard drive.
I hope not. As a collector, that would shatter me. But that I could see that being for normal people would be a thing. I could see that being a big sale point.
I can't even remember the last physical game I actually bought. You know, it's as Dabcat says, they could chuck in a terabyte hard drive in the space of a Blu-ray drive. Like, you could fit a lot of games on that. And then if there's a way to just plug in an extra external hard drive, it's like, okay, there's an extra 10 terabytes. And we're talking 3 years from now. So that 4 terabyte hard drive is probably in 3 years going to turn into a 10 terabyte hard drive. Let's be honest.
It needs to, because the 1 terabyte was like 20 games. I feel like...
Fair enough.
I feel... I have 4 external hard drives on top of...
I mean...
And it sucks.
I mean, what I'm getting at is perhaps we'll see the console start to go to Steam-like ecosystem, perhaps.
Sad to say, it probably will. I personally wouldn't want it.
Why sad to say?
I don't know. I guess it's just the old school collector. Like I hate. That's for me. It would be hard. I mean, obviously, I'm a gamer. I would still play the games, but it would be rough for me. Like it would just be upsetting that every time I bought, like even for PC, like I'm getting indie games and like cheap stuff, but I'm not going out and getting Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty on my PC. I'm still getting those on console, because I like to have. I've got 6 8-foot bookshelves full of nothing but games, and like when I look over to it, it's like an accomplishment, an achievement. But if I lost my job and became homeless or something, like I can sell it and make money. It's just not a Steam account. So I don't know. For me as a collector, it's a whole different thing. Like that would be, like I said, rough for me. It would definitely anger me to have it that way, but I mean I'd still play the game. So it's not like I'm just giving up gaming because they went to all digital. But every time I buy something in that aspect, I mean it would just be a little different.
It would hurt slightly.
Yeah, like it took me a while to get over music, and I'm okay with it. And I
think that was my first jump with it, was going into music and then starting to buy music on.
But the difference
since then, I've just gone with it.
But the difference for music, I think it made it so easy for me, is that CDs are absolute garbage. Like you look at them wrong, they scratch, they skip. So like it was sensible, because I mean honestly, we pull it out of the CD player, we throw it on the ground, we grab another one, throw it in our car, and then like that disc is forever ruined. Even if you bought the sun visors and all that other stuff, it was just so hard. And the fact that you'd buy the same CD 12 times because you liked it, but it always got damaged, it made sense. But as video games, I don't know. That's a hard one to do.
Fair play. Well, guys, we'd love to hear in the next gen console. What hardware feature see in a next gen console that will just make you go, boom, there's my money, have it. Let us know in Discords. Drop some stuff in there. Dappercat says built-in VR, like we've mentioned. Yeah, that'll be cool. Just a fuck off massive hard drive, says Buddha. Yeah, that'll be nice. Nerve gear. I think we're too far away from it. I'd love to see more people experimenting with it and doing more stuff with it, but I think we're too far away from that still. Not to be built in. I'd sign up straight away. But yeah, for it to be built in, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a thing yet. Maybe something like a heart sensor in the controllers. Maybe. I don't think it'll go further than that, though.
Kind of like Until Dawn, where you had to hold the controller still. it'd be kind of cool to have some kind of game, like you said, play on you being freaked out to intensify the game.
Yeah.
I think would be cool.
We'll see. But yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Yeah, we'd love to hear. Moving on, we've got our... Okay, I've called this the funny story of the day, of the week. It's not really that funny. It's actually kind of creepy and a little bit worrying. But anyway, this is a Pokemon Go story from Kotaku UK, where an alleged stalker claimed he was just playing Pokemon Go. Now, straight off the bat, that headline seems legitimate. Someone accuses him of stalking. No, I'm just walking around the area because I go. That seems legitimate, right? And it comes from a 50-year-old man in Kobe who has been arrested for allegedly violating Japan's stalking law. The suspect, however, said he wasn't stalking a 33-year-old woman, but just playing Pokemon Go near her house. Seems fair. Okay, yeah, cool. And I get that because especially, I mean, we live in a slightly sensitive... I mean, if you look out your front window and there's the same guy walking up and down your street over and over again, like, you're going to be like, what's this guy doing? Like, that's not right. Especially if you've never played Pokemon Go before, you wouldn't know what they're doing. So it's okay. Fair enough. This is where the story gets a little bit weird. According to the Kobe Shimbun, which I'm guessing is a local newspaper, the suspect allegedly was lurking around the victim's residence between May 31st and June 12th for like 2 weeks then. Security cameras she had installed filmed the alleged stalker this past May and June. However, the paper adds that authorities had previously warned the man since 2009 for following the victim. I think that's the bit that I find very funny. It's like,
when you toss that in,
been playing Pokemon. Yeah, I've been playing Pokemon Go around her house since 2009. It just becomes a little bit stupid. It's like, what are you thinking, dude? Like. If you've been warned about this in the past, about stalking someone, and you continue to do it for another 9 years, and then you try and come up with the excuse of, oh, I'm just playing Pokemon Go. Yeah, I wasn't around in 2009, mate, so not going to fly.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
hilarious.
It's always good. It's all about how you hear it. I'm like, I could kind of see that, and then you're like, since 2009. I'm like, that's the payoff right there.
Yeah. He's been warned about this since 2000. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Josh, pick a new person.
It's hilarious. The shit that people come up with sometimes, it's just amazing. But yeah. Anyway, well, that is it from me in terms of my voice. We're now going to go over to Noobs. He's got his own little section here. We've got the game spotlight of the week. Noobs, take it away. Tell us what we're looking at today. That is the Razer phone and Asus ROG phone. We've done that bit.
I knew. Well, like I said, because I can't do it on the fly. With that, I have to do things just a wee bit different. So
what are we looking at? What are we playing?
Are looking at door kickers. Door kickers kind of reminds me of. Let me pull up this other stuff here. So I can see what you guys have to say. Yeah, idiot, been doing this since 2009. So, okay, door kickers reminds me of like Hotline Miami mixed with Rainbow Six Siege. So, like, you get this overhead view like Hotline Miami, but you get to like pick your points of interest, like how you're going to enter the building, where you're going to move your characters. So you're like building this whole, where the team's going to go type thing. And I think that's a cool aspect because, I mean, Hotline Miami was like, run, gun, you die, do it over again, whatever. It just got crazy. But this, like, you have to think about it, you have to kind of see, where are these people going to be? How should I move, because you're controlling multiple people. It's just not, you running and gunning. So, like, you have to pick this path and, like, how everything's going to play out. And I think that in itself is really fun, where, like, Hotline Miami was just awesome for the craziness. But here, I feel like this was like the evolution of that game. Like if you just wanted more and needed more, like this is where it was at. The nice thing about it, they are supposed to bring it in. If it's not already here, I'd have to double, triple check. But it was something where a lot of people that was their big gripe. People were like, it has to be multiplayer. Like, we want to play with our friends. So
Yeah.
but I mean,
I know. Someone else has mentioned this game to me recently, and Buddha says that on their saying. But yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, he says it has co-op. The good thing about it is on Steam, it's like 80% off. So it's a $20 game. It's down to $2.99. There is a mobile version on it as well. Hang on a sec. Why are we still? Oh,
there's a mobile version.
There we go. Yeah. So it is on iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever. So it's out there. You can play it wherever. I think mobile version is $3.99. So you're saving $1 by getting it on your PC during this 24-hour sale deal. I believe that I think where you might have heard it from was over on Down to Earth. It's part of the giveaway.
That's right. They're having
part of the giveaway. And when I saw the topics today and we were talking about Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that, I was like, it works. That's what we're going to talk about. Is this Rainbow Hotline baby game here.
I like it. It looks cool. I'm definitely going to check it out at some point.
And for $2.99, those are the games that I like. You know, something where even if it's bad, it's okay. If it entertains me for 30 minutes, it's paid itself off. But this game does look pretty darn cool. It definitely was worthy enough to end up in this week's Game Spotlight.
Fair enough. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, Noobs. That brings us to the end of the show this. Just perfect. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Going up shit. Probably tomorrow sometime or later this evening, Noobs.
Definitely tomorrow by noon Central Standard Time, which would be 6
o'clock in the UK.
Awesome.
And if you're in any other time zone, you. But yeah, we're gonna go now. We're gonna go chill in Discord. We're gonna go into where the off-stream party chat room, the after-stream party. Where we're gonna chill out for a bit. Yeah, come and chat to us, guys. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you have any thoughts on any of the stories, and if you have any stories that you'd like us to cover, let us know.
Heck yeah.
But until then, I have been the Gingerback, and he has been Noobs, and we will continue to be so until next week. Same time, same place.
Ooh. You guys have a great night, day, afternoon.